What's up, everyone? I'm CL Connolly, and today I'm going to talk about what I got for Christmas. First thing is behind me. So this is that Ninja Foodie that's a air fryer pressure cooker thing. The pressure cooker still scares the crap out of me because a lot of hot steam coming out of it terrifies me. And no, I do not use it on this counter. I actually use it on this counter. But yes, I have used it. I made gluten-free fried chicken strips. Oh my gosh, I have missed fried chicken strips, let me tell you. But now that I can make the gluten-free ones at home, I make them here. I also made some kind of rice vegetable thing. So the rice has to be done in the pressure cooker. Oh my God, the tear to crowd. But luckily the rest of the stuff, once it goes on the top, you put it in the air fryer and it's like, okay. So it's got two different lids. Like it has the air fryer lid that's on here, and then it'll sit open, and then you put the pressure cooker lid on top of it. So anyway, that thing is amazing. It's awesome. I'm afraid that now my range is not going to get any use out of it at all. The poor stove and oven have not been used since I've had this machine. So poor guys. That came from my mother. It was awesome. Oh, and I also got this cup. I say my mother, but my parents. But then they also got me this. I was using this for my coffee. So, yay! And then my very sweet niece. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to do this the right side up. Okay, I think it's... No, that's the bottom. I can't see around it. That's all the horror people. And then it says horror at the bottom. But how cool is this? Oh my God, it's amazing. I love it. It is so soft. I love it. It's been on my bed because I like having a blanket wrapped around me. And it was so funny because my husband was trying to put his cold hands on my back, but I was wrapped up in that blanket. Plus I have a shirt on. So I'm wrapped up in the blanket and he goes, "What is this?" And he keeps touching it. And he goes, "I can't get in here because it's all the way wrapped around my body." Oh my God, it is so soft and I love it. It's because I end up with the comforter that we share ends up getting pulled off of me. And all night long, I'm trying to pull it back over onto me. And if he moves just the slightest bit, it gets pulled off. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not going to fight over this anymore. So my very sweet niece thought that it was time for me to have my own blanket. So now I do. And I'm excited about that. I mean, we have our own blankets on the couch. But anyway. My sister-in-law and her family got me these. They're coasters. They all have something different on them. I mean, these have to stay in my kitchen because if anybody needs a coaster, I'm like, oh, I have one. And I believe they made them. I don't think they bought these. I have a feeling that they made them because my brother-in-law is very crafty when it comes to things like this. So I have a feeling that they made these. I don't think that they bought them. But that's okay. Because I love them as they are. And if they made them, it makes it even more special. That's all I have to say about that. And then my other... I don't know if I can say it's my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. And like my niece and stuff like that. They're my sister-in-law's husband's brother and his wife. If that makes sense. But we still refer to them as my sister-in-law and brother-in-law and my niece. So anyway, but they got me this horror trivia game and I'm always sitting there thinking, I'm like, I don't know enough older movies. I feel like my horror is, starts with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 70s. And then I've got 80s for Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, stuff like that. And then the 90s is Scream and then so on and so forth. So I don't know a whole lot of old horror movies, or at least I thought I didn't. But man, my husband and I were reading those cards and I was like, dude, I know more about horror than I thought I did. So yay me. So I was actually surprised at how much I knew. But there are a couple of questions in there. I'm like, dude, like what movie has a fog that tends to decapitate people? Like I've never even heard of that movie. I didn't know it existed, but it's something from 1958. So I can understand that. So when I asked my parents, my mom was like, I was 3. And my dad was like, I was 8. And I was like, okay. So they didn't know either. But here is the pièce de résistance. Okay. So my husband, I always love it when he kind of listens. I say kind of because sometimes I feel like, yeah, you don't really hear me. But this was something that I have been begging for. I've been looking for it everywhere for years. And I was like, it'd be cool to have one of these. And I was like, just as decoration. Like, I'm not looking for it to work. I literally just want decoration in my office because it is my writing area. So I was like, I kind of need something that says that this is a writer's office, right? So my husband got me this. And of course we've got garbage back there, but I'll pick that up. But he got me an old typewriter. I've been looking for one that's like somewhere around the 20s anyway, right? Which I think is really weird. Okay, there's no number 1. Am I getting it? Yeah, there's no number 1. That's backspace and then 2. So like way back in the day, there was no number 1. Like I'm confused, but that's okay. So the date on this, because it does have a copyright date, it says 1895 to 1923. So the copyright date on this is right in that same line. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's awesome. So apparently the story goes that my sister-in-law, okay, so my niece is going to the University of Kansas, I believe. I know she's going to a school in Kansas. It might be the University of Kansas. But anyway, so my niece is going there and they went to go visit her and went into this antique shop because my sister-in-law likes to go antiquing. And they go into this antique shop and my sister-in-law sees it. And I guess she's heard my husband say that I wanted one of those. So she took a picture of it and sent it to my husband. And my husband immediately goes, buy that and I'll pay you back. So she buys it. And then my husband, apparently they had swapped it while we were at my granddaughter's birthday party, her first birthday party in October. Now, I like surprises. He could have left this thing in the living room in a box, said this is your Christmas present, and I never would have looked at it. I wouldn't even thought about it, had a second thought about it. But he had it in the shed. And I see this box with my niece's name on it, and I'm like, what is that? And he goes, Christmas gift, don't look. And I was like, all right. So I was done with it. I wasn't going to look at it. The keys to the shed are right over there by my coffee maker. I don't want to look. I don't want to know. So of course, when he brings this box in, he's like, hold on, I need you to pick it up first. So I go to pick it up. Oh my God. The thing is made of steel. So it is absolutely heavy because it was like one of those, it's the old metal. So it is super heavy. So I can't exactly move it from this position, but I kind of want to clean it up just a little bit because, it's been sitting in the, oh my God, the antique shop. It's been sitting in an antique shop, so it is a little dusty. So I'm like, I just want to clean it up a little bit and get it all. So anyway, yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. So I'm going to get a little cleaned up. Of course, I got to clean up my office. There's a lot of stuff in there. I'm just going to throw in the garbage. And then I'm going to find a place for it. And I'm thinking maybe it should get its own table, like have its own little table to sit on. So it's like right there. But then I'm like, these things are so old that I know that if you touch the keys, some of the keys, they cross over. So they get stuck and they won't go back down. So I'm afraid to touch those. I'm afraid to type anything on it. I mean, I know it doesn't work. I'm pretty sure that there's probably a way to get like the old style ribbon or something. I don't know. I don't know how they work. But I'm going to do a lot of research and find out because that's what I do. I do a lot of research. So that is everything that I got for Christmas. And I had an amazing Christmas. It was great. It was wonderful. And I got a lot of awesome things. I love these horror things. That's all I have to say about that. I love getting horror stuff, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows that I love the horror stuff. And this here, my mom was saying, she goes, I know I heard you say something that you wanted one of those. And I was like, yep, sure did. And now I can't stop using it. I have used it every day since Christmas, which was just this past Sunday, and today is Wednesday. So yeah. I've thought about cooking stuff for lunch for me, but then I'm like, I always have leftovers from the night before because it's so good. So yeah, that is my plan, is to keep using this, because now making fried chicken on the stove is very difficult, and trying to do gluten-free, because that flour doesn't have that gluten in there, which is a binder, it just falls off in the oil. But in the air fryer, let me tell you, it does not fall off, and it makes it delicious. And my husband was like, oh my God, you did so good. And I was like, I hope so. All I did was just follow the instructions. You know, how long to put it in for? I'm just saying. So anyway, but I will say that even though it was a little awkward at my parents' house, I don't know how someone can live life and just feel so miserable. So my advice to you is live life like every day is your last. And do you want to be miserable on your last day? Probably not. So be happy with what you have. You know, or if you're not happy with what you have, work for something new. I'm just saying. But the journey should always be happy. And if you don't like your job, legit, there is something out there that you will love. I loved working at the office supply store that I worked at. I loved that store. But then the management makes it less manageable, if you know what I mean. So the few stores that I worked at 12 different stores. And out of those stores, 11 of them I was happy at. And some of those stores, I was only there for just a few days just to help out. And let me tell you something, those managers were just as fun. I had one store that ended up with 2 managers that were just miserable people. And it made that store unbearable. So it makes it worse when it's a family member that's miserable and they feel like everyone else needs to be miserable too. Anyway, don't do that. If you don't like something, fix it. Only you can change how you feel. That's just how I see it. Now, with that, I'm going to sign off, and I hope you enjoyed all of the things that I have here. Make sure to subscribe so you can see all my videos. I am planning on a new upload schedule for 2023. I'm hoping to upload videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but you have to remember I live in the middle of nowhere. My internet is not the best, and the little hotspot that I have that I use for Wi-Fi sometimes does not work very well. So I will do what I can to try to get out a video Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but it will definitely be at least Monday and Friday, I'm hoping. Monday was always my thing in 2019. I always did Monday. 2020, I did Monday mostly, but then it got to the point to where it was like, now it's getting harder. So anyway, I'm going to try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday uploads. If you have any suggestions of anything that, sorry, my dog. If you have any suggestions of anything that you want me to talk about, remember, I am a horror author. I write slashers. I do have 2 dogs and a cat. I like to go to these conventions and sell my books and stuff like that. So I do that. I have 6 published books. My new series, my cult series, is being edited. The Bible, the Disciples' Doctrine, is being edited right now. the next 4 books. I was going to try to get them all published next year, all 5 of them, the Bible and then the 4 books in the series. But I feel like that would be too stress inducing. So I'm going to at least try to do the Disciples Doctrine and then the first 2 books next year. Those are the 3 that I'm going to try to publish next year. And then I'll do the last 2 in 2024. So be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see how the process is going. There are a lot of writing processes that I go through. That includes making the covers. The Disciples Doctrine already has a cover, so I'm not worried about that one. I've already created that cover. That includes I've already created the cover for Roadkill Cafe as well. Because, yeah, I'm not going to say that until after I'm ready to reveal the cover. But Roadkill Cafe should be, if I stick with my schedule that I have for my book publishing, Roadkill Cafe should be published in either late 2024 or early 2025. And then I do have 2 other books that are written that I have not talked about. And then I have several others that I'm going to get started as well. I'm hoping to have 12 to 15 books written by the time all of, the cult series and my Roadkill Cafe and then the other 2, I'm hoping to have at least 12 books written and ready to just be edited so I can focus on just editing and getting those out and then start, writing more as it comes. So my plan is to have everything that I have outlined published by 2030, hopefully. But anyway, okay, that's it. And today's Wednesday, so I'm going to try to get a video on Friday. And we'll talk more about like New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. But anyway, okay, that's all I have to say. Okay, bye.